One thing that I would say for women coming up in the industry is know your worth, ask for what you deserve as far as pay and everything else. Aside from that, also be the mentor that you wish you had to be able to change the way the industry is. So I'm Suellen Drummond. I am the founder and content creator of Favela Bonita. The original idea is Brazilian street food with a lot of history, with a story behind every dish. Favelas in Brazil are like the little hills that you see in the outskirts of the city. People know it by City of God, the movie. A lot of the violence is shown in the media, but none of the good parts or none of the history of how that started and why that area is like that is ever presented to the public. By living in Brazil and like experiencing favelas, I was able to see the whole like community aspect, the resilience of people, the dishes that they make, which is their own cuisine, similar to what like the bayous of New Orleans is here. So really showing that story to the public. My grandmother was a baker. She was a cook too. She ran her own kitchen, but her baking really stuck to me. So a lot of the dishes that I have as baking in Favela Bonita were inspired by her. Her belief that energy transfers through food is really true to me, because if you're stressed in the kitchen, you're constantly stressed in the kitchen. You're constantly mad at something, you're constantly having to solve some problem. But the only thing that has always gotten me through those moments is it can't affect the food. Whatever's going on around me cannot affect the way that I'm cooking this, the way that I'm seasoning it, the way that I'm tasting it, because it will transfer to the guests. And I do remember whenever she was upset about something, I could tell immediately because her food was salty, and I would call her out too. As far as my history in culinary, my parents came here. They worked in the restaurant industry, so I saw that growing up. Like my parents were always like very strict about like if I'm walking in the kitchen to meet them, that I like shake everybody's hand. So the dynamic of a professional kitchen I saw from a very young age, and I had a plan like right out of high school. I knew who I was going to work for, and I knew like how long I was going to work for them and what I wanted to get from each kitchen. I went to culinary school through a scholarship where I competed in high school. It's called Future Chefs. It's in Boston, a nonprofit. I competed there and went to school in New England Culinary Institute in Vermont. From there, I went back to Boston and I worked for Chef Barbara Lynch. She is pretty much a trailblazer for female chefs in Boston. She owns No. 9 Park. She's a Southie girl. She's like badass, really badass. Like I looked up to her a lot. French cuisine has always been my training as far as techniques. My first sous chef job was at Du Havre, which is in the Back Bay area of Boston. It's a 4-star Forbes restaurant. And when I moved to San Diego, I worked at Fort Oak, which open fire cooking. That's also very true to Brazilian cuisine, the way people learn how to cook originally. That was important for me to learn. And then COVID happened. During COVID, it was very eye-opening to see that being a chef could look a little bit different than owning your own restaurant. It could be content-based. It could be you doing pop-ups. You know, it could be you helping your community and being a trailblazer in that way. So it is a male-dominated industry. It is a white male-dominated industry. Me as an immigrant, me as a black woman, as a woman, period, I think it's important for me to do my best as a chef when I'm in the power to hire and nurture and mentor people, to be able to do that so they can see representation and feel welcomed in the kitchens that I'm in. There's this mentality of like, you need to earn your space to be here. And there's that hazing phase that happens. Aside from that hazing phase, and I think all kitchens have this like boys club. And I'm not saying every kitchen, I'm only speaking from my own experience of the stereotype that maybe like women are too delicate and they can't butcher. Women are too delicate and they can't lift weights. Or like women are too sensitive. It's a toxic environment to be in. And I've been in those environments. That's why I say it's important for me to be an inspiration, to be a representation, and welcome other people in a different way. And the only way I could make it through is because my mom was in restaurant industries, and she taught me to be very serious in the kitchen, which kind of hurt me a little bit, because like I would never participate in jokes. I would never laugh at jokes, because she was like, don't give them the liberty to like make a dirty joke to you. Don't give them the liberty to even think that they can mess with you, you know? And that did hurt me a little bit, like when it comes to like having that team, you're working in a team, you know? But it was always just like, put your head down, this is what you came here to do, this is your focus, and don't let anything else take you off that path. Working in a team, you need patience. You need to know people's weaknesses and strengths. And just because they have a weakness doesn't mean you can fire them. Doesn't mean that you can like reprimand them all the time. It's like, how are you going to work with this person's weakness and then this person's strength and make your team strong? Women have a different eye on that from my experience and what I've seen in other female chefs that I've had. Being a chef is both a career and a passion for me. I don't think you can have a career if you don't have a passion for it. So you need to learn every single aspect. If you're gonna ask somebody who's like your employee to do something, it's important for you to do it too. That's like how my mom raised me. Ask for the raise, ask for the promotion, ask for whatever it is that you need, because you deserve to get paid the same as everybody else. You deserve to get paid your value, and just because you're going into a kitchen and you're just taking whatever they're giving you, there's always more money on the table. There's always more money on the table, and I wish I knew that at 20. And once I learned that, and I learned that I needed to ask for my value, that I was at that place, it's a exchange. Like, if you're hiring me for something that I have. We need to ask for what our value is. The dish is important to me because it's a true representation of what I believe Brazilian culture is. I always believed in my true potential, but seeing that at such a young age, being put on a menu at a Michelin star restaurant by a French chef, was very inspiring to me, and it stuck to me, and it helped shape my career. It helped give me the confidence that I needed to navigate those spaces. Being a woman, you need a lot of confidence to navigate your career in this industry.